So what is the best feet position to have on your surfboard? Every surfboard is going to have a slightly different position according to your surfboard size, the volume, and your ability. But every surfboard has a sweet spot. So let's talk about that. You'll see on these smaller boards, the more high performance boards, you want to stand with your back foot against the kicker of the tailpad. That's going to make the board respond a lot better. Now, the mini mounts and the bigger boards, you can stand kind of in the middle of the board and it'll still go. But if you want to turn it, you need to stand a bit further back. And you'll see what happens on these kind of boards, like they're kind of forgiving. So a lot of the time, people will have this common error where people will stand kind of off center. So you'll see if you draw like a center line on the surfboard right here where the mouse is, you'll see his back foot is in position, but his front foot is not. And that's a common mistake people have, and it's mostly because of the pop-up. You'll see when he stands up, his back foot goes down in the correct position, but his front foot goes behind his hand instead of in between both hands. And that's an easy thing to fix, actually. And you'll see it puts him off balance for a while, and it takes him a while to reposition his front foot in the center of the board. And once he does, he has more control. So we need to fix that. And you'll see this person does the same thing. And what it also does is that it puts him off balance from wanting to like turn. So the board's going to respond better in the one direction. And then as soon as he tries to turn the other way, it's not going to respond. And that's because his feet are off position. And then over here, this is a person who's standing quite far forward in the center of the board. And what that's going to do is give you a lot of speed and drive, but it's not going to be possible to turn the board that easily. And then these two people have a similar thing as what I spoke about earlier, where both of them stand up with their front foot on the one side of the board. Okay, and as they stand up and reposition their foot, the board kind of sinks in the tail, and then it goes trim again afterwards. And that's going to put the board off balance. You'll lose a lot of speed, and it just wastes time to try reposition your foot and then to try get it going. So if you're able to get that front foot in between your hands while you stand up straight away, it's going to give you more control early on the wave. And you'll see sometimes on the longer boards, people will stand a little too far forward, and that's also going to make them nosedive, especially when you kind of get closer towards the bottom of the wave. So if you stand too far forward, you're going to nosedive as well, and that's a common thing that happens with some people. This person here also standing on the one side of the board. You can see the water catching around his front foot over there. That's a sign he's standing on the one side of the board. And this next person here, I think he stands in kind of a good place, but then when he walks forward, he just has his feet in the wrong place at the wrong time. So you kind of want to stand up in a good position on a longboard and then like walk forward for a nose ride, which you try to do. But as soon as it gets steep like this and he's too low on the wave, he's going to bog and nosedive. And then on the longboard, you can stand further back to do maneuvers and cutbacks. This person's standing too far forward, and that's why he nosedived there coming around the section. This lady over here stood up in the perfect position, and you can see the board responds to what she's doing very well. It's quite trim, it's fast, and it's responding to her trying to get some speed. This person actually stands up in the perfect position like I did earlier on with like my shortboard. But in his case, it's not that good. And the reason why is because you see he's keeping and having way too much weight on the back of the board, okay? And you want to be able to free the board, of course, and that's for a different topic. But in this kind of situation, it's probably better to stand a little further forward in the center of the board if you're on this level, just to keep the board more trim, keep your speed, and to go with the wave. You can see the tail sinking, and he has too much weight on the back foot. So at the end of the day, you want to stand in the center of the board, over the center line of the board, the stringer, and you also want to have your stance about shoulder width apart. And that's usually the best position to have on your board while surfing. And like I said, every board is going to have a different sweet spot, so find yours. Thanks for listening, and make sure to subscribe to find and to see more of these video tutorials. Have a great day.